Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I had to meet with somebody this morning and it got me behind schedule. I need to go ahead and give a fair warning to any of the children out there. We're going to go into big boy land today in this video. We're going to be talking about things adults would talk about that children may not understand. So if that describes you, if you're one of the whiners, if you're one of the people that's been whining about everything you can imagine about XRP for the last however many years, trying to sow seeds of doubt, whining, complaining, thinking that it all hinges on you and that we're not in adult land here, you might be uncomfortable in parts of this video. First, we'll start with two adults. This is a clip I just saw going around from XRP Las Vegas. John Deaton and James Murphy, Meta Lawman. Watch this.
Here is, at the end of last year, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals made a ruling that changed the law as it had been for my entire career and said that there have to be victims in order for the SEC to get disgorgement. And there have to be victims of the violation of the securities laws. And so those are the institutional sales that you're familiar with from the Torres decision. And the fact that the SEC was unable to come up with a single institution that lost money was interesting, surprising. And the fact that the law had changed and said that is an essential element to get any disgorgement, not just 900 million plus 200 million in interest. To get any disgorgement, there have to be victims. The SEC was unable to show victims, but rather showed that there were institutions that got less of a discount than some other institutions, and if they had gotten the same discount, they would have made more than they actually made. And they're trying to say that's a loss. Well, you know what? The people in this room know what a loss looks like, you know? And that ain't a loss. Give me those losses. And so I believe that their theory's not gonna work, and we're gonna soon find out. But just think about this. Judge Torres is confronted with a situation where this case has been going on for years, has cost over $100 million of legal fees, and what? There are no damages? We've gone to all this effort for, explain this to me. It's very unusual, tremendous benefit to Ripple in this change of law by the Second Circuit, and Judge Torres must follow the Second Circuit. Yes, John? Here.
Wow, that's huge. Now, this is also huge. Notice the same people who are pumping Solana, which FTX holds a lot of. Remember, they covered all the news. Sam Bankman-Fried's telling all his friends in jail to buy Solana. Remember how they've pumped all this in the media? And then all the same crypto pundits all of a sudden began to pump Solana in conjunction, almost like they all got talking points. Laura Shin was one of them that started pumping Solana. And then, now what are they doing? Now they're wanting to talk about the FTX creditors and how great everybody's going to get paid back. We're seeing headlines like this. You can see what's going on, folks. They got to get Sam Bankman-Fried out of jail because he knows where the bodies are buried, and all their paid-for media friends like Laura Shin are going to help them out. I want to play you this part because remember from ETHgate, Jay Clayton's law firm, Sullivan Cromwell? Well, turns out they represented FTX, and they're also a creditor, I believe.
About the Sullivan and Cromwell issue, because I guess they've earned more than $320 million on this case, and they are named as defendants in the class action lawsuit that I think Sunil and other people have brought. So, obviously amongst a certain set, they're controversial figures. Obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried has had a beef with them and says, they have this conflict of interest. So I did see people taking exception to the fact that in this plan, there's a so-called exculpation clause that means that they and others involved cannot be sued. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, this is like hot topic in bankruptcy, even outside of crypto, these releases and exculpation clauses, even in third-party releases. Anyway, so there's clearly some conflicts of interest. If I recall from the docket, there is conflicts counsel that was hired to look into pre-petition activity by Sullivan Cromwell. I think it was Quinn Emanuel, which are no slouches when it comes to looking at, just pre-petition behavior. So that's good to see. I can't speak that much to it. It'd be nice to have a different counselor that wasn't conflicted, but we're kind of here.
But yeah, we're kind of here. We just got to overlook it. Now, this right here is kind of what I've always thought how this story was going to end with XRP. And I like how they said it here. This is definitely a thumbnail. We will get it again. Trust the plan. The dethroning has happened. Now, the dethroning was when XRP jumped Ethereum back in 2017. But I've always thought in my gut that the way this XRP story ends is with XRP dethroning Ethereum and Bitcoin. I still believe that. For that reason, I will put that on my thumbnail today. I'm sure that'll piss a few off. And I wanted to make a note this morning. SEC is a mafia, not a government organization for the protection of investors. Here's the one of the people from Robinhood.
And we actually came in good faith to meet with the SEC. I think we met with them 16.
Well, how can you meet in good faith with someone who has no faithful allegiance to the law? That's a mistake on your part.
Times. And unfortunately, that was not reciprocated. And it was clear that there didn't seem to be a path.
Next up.
And all right, then we got this. This was an interesting clip. I'm not saying I agree with everything in here. I'm just saying these guys are the guys from Black Swan Capital. They're smart. I like listening to them. Listen to this.
Reset was when the pandemic.
And this is that guy named Echo. I met him. He's a very nice guy. I met him at XRP Las Vegas.
It's like they hit the button right there and then. And that's kind of when all this started coming out, But Ripple's been doing a lot of things for a very long time, while Bitcoin has been the one on mainstream news and people talk about it all the time, and Ethereum. Ripple behind the scenes has been partnering with banks worldwide and regulators. You can't fight the banks at their own game. They put this thing together. They are not going to lose control of something like Bitcoin. Okay. And that's the truth. You really want to knock out Bitcoin? 10 days of darkness, man. That's it. Knock out the power grid for some time. All the servers go down. Done. Ripple, on the other hand, and this is very few people know this, and you can really dig deep into this, but Ripple runs without Wi-Fi, without internet. It can run without internet. And I've heard a lot of people say that this technology is beyond something we imagine. And it's true. It can run without internet. I've seen people talking about that. It's not a joke. Yeah, if the power goes out now, and guess what? All banks and systems are down, even Bitcoin. Who's going to save the day? Who's going to offer the liquidity? Who's going to have the technology to do something like that and help people out? It's going to have to be Ripple. And then again, behind the scenes, like I said, they've already partnered with all the banks, major financial institutions worldwide, hedge funds, and people are already using the technology.
Look at this. Jack Dorsey's predicting at least a $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. That's interesting. And this clip of Brad Garlinghouse was going around this morning. I haven't seen it in a while. I did see it back in the day, but there's so many new people.
At this is Ripple's really trying to solve that cross-border payments problem. Central bank digital currencies are domestic by nature. They're issued by a central bank or potentially issued by a central bank. So they're not really solving cross-border problems. They're solving domestic solutions more often than not. So look, I think that what we're seeing happen with stablecoins, we're seeing happening with central bank issued digital assets, I think is exciting. I'm not exactly clear how it's all going to play out. You're seeing countries experiment and test. Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced. that they're issuing and testing using the XRP ledger to issue their digital assets on the XRP ledger as a token. So we're excited to be working with them. And look, at our core, Ripple's really good at working with enterprise customers. A government is just a big enterprise customer. You know, we know how to sell to.
That's an interesting notion.
I mean, in some ways, it's just a really big enterprise customer. And we're pretty good at that now because we've had a lot of experience with it and worked with some of the largest banks in the world, as well as a lot of the smaller payment companies that have grown very quickly using our technology. It's helped them grow more quickly.
Now, folks, we've had a lot of complaints on this channel. You're hearing this sound? Well, I'll just give you a new phrase. You can use it out there on X. You can use it out there on YouTube. I say blame it on Johnny, because Johnny from the UK is the one that gave me this engraved Zippo lighter. I appreciate it, Johnny. But if this drives you up the wall, you all know I have a nervous habit. Johnny knew it. That's why he gave me the Zippo, so this could become my new nervous habit. So one day maybe I'll tear this thing up flipping it, but until then, blame it on Johnny from the UK. Any of the children, it's time to go beddy by time. Get your night and go play with your toys or go clean your room. If you're the children who think that the validators and the nodes and all that was all dependent on all these people out there in their basement running validator nodes, okay? I always thought that was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard, okay? This is about changing the entire financial system. It is not going to be dependent on you and your friends in your basement running nodes, okay? That is ridiculous. It always has been ridiculous. This makes a little more sense.
XRP sits, as I said, on an open, permissionless ledger. How do I know that it's open and permissionless? Because the Chief Technology Officer at Ripple tells me it is. He explains it to me, but I also have hard evidence. The SEC announced about a month or two ago that they're going to establish a node on the XRP ledger and other open and permissionless ledgers. The SEC didn't call Ripple to ask permission to do that. They're just going
This is how I've always envisioned. I have watched people whine and complain. Oh no, the Ripple network doesn't have enough nodes and whatever. For years, I've listened to that whining, self-loathing BS. I've listened to all this, folks. If this is what if this is 1/4 of what we think it is, the nodes are going to be run by governments, nonprofit organizations, financial institutions. They'll probably have them on satellites. They already have them underground. It would be systemically important to do so. They're sure as hell not going to be sitting around wondering if you and I are going to start nodes in our basement or our house or our bathroom, whatever. That is, I can't tell you. I mean, how many supposedly smart people I've heard argue this kind of concept. It's ridiculous. Well, SBI is over there proving the ridiculousness of it. Vet says SBI just started to run their XRP ledger validator. This is a huge step on having large enterprises running infrastructure for the XRP ledger. That came from a tweet from Emi Yoshikawa. And I said this was always how the validator story was going to unfold. They're going to light up like a Christmas tree when the time is right. Emi says SBI VC Trade, SBI Holdings Crypto Exchange just announced the launch of their validator on XRPL. You can see it here. Don't be offended by it, folks. It's not about you. This is about something much larger than you. Much larger than me, that's for sure. SBI statement for their XRP ledger validator. SBI contributes to the XRPL ecosystem, targets to become a UNL node to help shape XRP ledger governance. Their vote will reflect XRP holders' voice in Japan, aiming to educate XRP holders about new amendments. Yoshitaka Katao from Japan, CEO of SBI Holdings, one of the investors in Ripple, stable, transparent, and trusted. The opportunity of stable coins in global finance And then Chris Giancarlo, who was at XRP Las Vegas, crypto, CBDC, stable coins of the future, says former CFTC chair. You know, something I'll tell you in the group, something I asked him. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but I'll tell you something that I asked him. I asked him a couple of things that were funny and interesting, and I don't think I brought this one up to you. I'm also going to tell you what you need to watch this weekend in the group, daixrp.com. I'm going to watch it. Just thought you might be interested. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that here is what I asked Chris Giancarlo.